Americans are open to cutting foreign aid to Uganda after the country passed an anti-gay law and the president signed it. So Huffington Post and YouGov did a poll to see what percentage of Americans would be in favor of cutting foreign aid to Uganda, and the numbers are actually pretty high. About 62% of Americans say that they approve of cutting financial aid, 21% disapprove, and 17% said that they are not sure. Now, when it comes to Uganda's anti-gay law, 76% of Americans actually disapproved of the law, which is fascinating.
What does the law say?
The law says that if you are caught of doing aggravated homosexuality, you could serve life in prison. And they also
aggravated homosexuality.
Yeah, which
so
I don't know what that is.
Well, I'll tell you what that is. So that's like if you're anally. If you're fucking someone and from behind and you flick their ear, that is aggravated.
Aggravated homosexuality.
Yeah, hey, I'm all for fucking me. Would you? It's
Cut it out. It's driving me
it's
crazy.
Nuts. It's so irritating. Just fuck me.
In terms of the law, if you are aiding and abetting homosexuality or conspiracy to commit homosexuality, so if you're just thinking about it, you could serve 7 years in prison.
God,
wow.
I'd love to be in that room. Like, what do you think? What do you think? Should we commit homosexuality? I don't know. Let's think about it a little bit more. Let's conspire.
How do you enforce that?
Let's plan to do it at a later time.
I overheard them talking about what items of clothing to wear, and one of them said a scarf was appropriate. I think he's conspiring to be gay.
Yeah.
Just hasn't gotten there yet.
You gave him the scarf, like for Christmas, abetting.
Yeah, abetting.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so now look, unfortunately, it's serious in Uganda where they're actually going to put people in prison. First case of aggravated homosexuality for flicking of the ear gets you 14 years in prison. Mm-hmm. First case, okay? So now, it's really encouraging, though, to see these numbers from the American side. Like the first poll numbers where I saw they say they want to cut the aid, I was like, that doesn't mean anything. You Ben and I are the
same. You ask Americans they want to cut aid to Uganda without the law, they'd be like, yeah.
That's actually untrue. According to the poll, Americans are more open-minded than ever when it comes to giving foreign aid. But of course,
I've just about had it with you counter-dicking us in public on the show like this. Just because we're wrong doesn't.
Aggravated truthfulness. It's bothering me.
That is
Did anyone aid and abet me in that?
Okay, I saw you conspiring with Johnny I before. Okay, anyway. But later, I mean, the 76-13 is great, because it's so draconian that the number should be 0% in favor, right? Mm-hmm. But we've gotten so used to the right wing that's so draconian here, it's a pleasure to see that it's only 13% of the country that thinks you should lock people up for a long time and perhaps life for doing a perfectly normal thing.
It stands to reason that that's 13. That's 1 in 8 people. So I mean, it's a good number, but it's still 1 in 8 people, which means it's 8 in 8 people in certain parts of the country. Just in certain families, and so. But it's an indication because you would imagine that if you hate gays here, that you would hate gays the same in Uganda. So obviously, I wonder whether we're not that much higher than 13 in this country. I wonder. And it just, either way, it seems to show that whatever this small percentage is, like, man, at what point do we get to stop treating it as a viable argument? At what point do we get to tell uniformly the people advocating this kind of law, like, hey, man, shut up. This is draconian. And because if only 13% of Americans approve of this law, how many of them approve of the anti-gay laws here in the United States?
Let me answer.
18? 20?